Welcome everybody to Latiners Network. My name is Jose and this is my review for The Boogeyman, the newest horror film from 20th Century Fox. I'm a horror guy. I always get excited about these, although I wasn't really looking forward to this one. I didn't hear great things when it was screened at CinemaCon last month. And listen, this is being billed as an adaptation of a Stephen King short story, which doesn't really inspire a lot of confidence. Let's keep it 100 here. Stephen King's a great writer. He's synonymous for horror in that realm, but the adaptations that are made from his stories don't always yield a winner. Most of the times, they're really poorly done, as a few exceptions, of course. But that being said, I'm always willing to give it a chance here. And this one here, The Boogeyman, it's a very simple story. We have a family, fathers and both young daughters. Their mother had passed away recently, so they're kind of dealing with that grief. And they find themselves being, I guess, terrorized by an entity, I guess, this being called the Boogeyman. They get more information about the Boogeyman from the last family who was terrorized by this creature. And that's when the young girl mainly, right? The traders with the young girl, the little light and all that, and spotting him in the darkness, if you will. And again, it's a very simple story, and the family trying to deal with it and trying to find a way how to escape its grasp, if you will. Nothing earth-shattering in terms of story, which I think is a good thing for this film. It kind of knows what it wants to be and what it is. And overall, I enjoyed it. It's actually much better than I thought going into it, and from what I hear. It's not one that's gonna, to break the mold in terms of horror or bring large audiences, for many reasons, but it's a well done, interesting, very tension-filled film, which I thought for the most part really worked. It's a slow movie, slow, and definitely a very slow pace. It's a slow burn, and people hear that think it's bad, and not necessarily a bad thing, as long as the payoff and there's moments there that kind of to thrill you, right? Particularly with the horror film, this movie definitely has that, right? The tension is ratcheted up a lot of times, and like the creature design, the way it kind of reminds me a little bit of Lights Out, because we have this boogeyman, away you want to call it, who it shies away from the light and you don't even really see it when it's dark. Again, something that sounds familiar, but whatever. The girls in it are great, and the father's fine. He's not in it a whole lot, but ultimately it's well done. Tension is there. It's got the scares. The scares are there. This is not one that relies on graphic or blood and killings and all that. This is not that kind of film. It doesn't really rely on the jump scares, which a lot of these films tend to do. It does have a few, of course, but again, it relies on the story, the simplicity of it. It's kind of somewhat psychological thriller, if you will. Most of the times, when things pick up in the third act, I thought it paid off fairly well. Liked what they did with it. Again, nothing earth-shattering. Didn't break the mold. It's, pretty much what you expect out of a film like this, but it's just executed fairly well, right? And there's those moments of tension that really get you going, like, oh, where is it? It's behind her, it's in front of her, or you see it peek out and the light comes on and it goes away. Things like that keep happening, which, really kind of tickled the horror bone, if you will, and I'll put it lightly. But, overall, like I said, enjoyable film. Not great. Is one that I recommend you guys watch, but not necessarily one to go watch in the theaters. Listen, this is gonna be going up against Spider-Verse. Let's be honest, it's not even gonna be close, right? I think a lot of audiences, I would assume, are gonna go see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2. But the horror fans usually support these kind of films, and like I said, you can do worse than to see this. But it's definitely one that I would say recommend watching at home if you get a chance on video on demand or streaming or whatever. I think it's definitely worth your time. Again, nothing great, a solid little horror film. So well done, So all that being said, if you guys watch it, comment below, let me know what you guys thought. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.